Volunteer Citizen Board appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the city council. Our procedure this evening is as follows. First, we will hear from the Planning and Development Services Unit, represented tonight by Mr. John Barrett. Then the petitioner or his or her representative will make his or her presentation. Petitioners will have 5 minutes in which to make their presentations. The board members may ask questions of either the city or the petitioner. We will acknowledge any written comments received by the board. We will allow an appearing party to express their support or objections. The board will discuss the appeal and formulate a resolution to approve the appeal. 5 affirmative votes of the board will be required for an appeal to be granted. Finally, any qualified party who is aggrieved by a decision of the board can appeal that decision to the Washtenaw County Circuit Court on a timely basis. Roll call. I am here. Mike Daniel. Dave DeVarty.
Here.
Mike Dotmeyer.
Here.
Nicole Eisenman. Here. Todd Grant.
Here.
Julie Weatherby.
Here.
Kirk Westfall.
Here.
Charlotte Wilson.
Here.
We have a quorum. Moving on to approval of the agenda, do I have any modifications to the agenda or a motion to approve the agenda?
I move we approve the agenda.
I have a motion. Do I have support? From Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on to approval of the minutes. We have minutes from the July 25th, 2018 ZBA meeting. Any comments or corrections on those minutes? If not, a motion to approve the minute?
I move we approve the minutes.
A motion, do I have support from Charlotte? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on to public hearings, ZBA 18-020-2505, Londonderry Road. John?
I'm John Barrett, zoning coordinator for the city of Ann Arbor. The first case this evening is ZBA case 18-020. The address is 2505 Londonderry Road. Randy and Kelly Ross, property owners, are requesting relief from Article 4, Nonconformities, Section 5.32.2, Nonconforming Structures. The request to alter a nonconforming structure will enable the owners to construct an addition containing a bathroom, mudroom, and 2 bedrooms on a second story. The existing home does not meet the average front setback of 35 feet. The residence is currently 24 feet 2 inches from the front property line. The new addition will not encroach further into the setback than the existing home. The subject parcel is zoned R1B single family and is located at the corner of Londonderry and Sheridan Drive, just east of Washtenaw Avenue. The existing home consists of approximately 3,577 square feet and is situated on a lot containing 22,128 square feet. The home was built in 1960. The applicants are requesting permission to alter this non-conforming structure in order to expand the existing 2-car garage to a 3-car garage. The addition to the home will be a mudroom and a lavatory on the first floor and 2 bedrooms on the second story. The property currently has 2 curb cuts along Sheridan Drive. The garage expansion will allow the owners to eliminate the existing curb cuts and combine the 2 driveways to form one access point to the property. If you'll turn your attention to the monitors, you'll see the location map and the highlighted property is the highlighted yellow parcel. You see it's at the corner of Londonderry and Sheridan Drive. The next slide is the aerial map of the property showing the existing property, neighborhoods, and existing conditions. The next slide is the zoomed in aerial photo. You see the existing property, how it relates to the property lines. It's at the corner, and the proposed addition will be to the west on this side of the garage and over here to the eastern side of the property in the garage. The next slide is the survey and the proposed addition superimposed on the survey, the green highlighted areas. This will be where the garage addition is to take place, and then the eastern side of the garage, the addition with the lavatory or mudroom. And then on the second story, there'll be the bedrooms. This is showing the new driveway and how the property will be accessed. This is showing the existing driveways. You see the 2 curb cuts along Sheridan. They will be eliminated and to form this configuration. Next slide is a building footprint showing, and it's in your packets, you can see a little bit better than these slides, showing that the addition or the existing conditions, this corner is 24 feet to the front setback. And this addition will be the exact same distance of 24 feet. These are floor plans that were submitted with the application by the applicants. You see the existing floor plan. The next slide shows what they're proposing to do, the proposed first floor plan. You can see it a little bit better in your packets. The next slide is showing the existing partial second floor addition, or floor, how it exists. And this is what they're proposing to add the additional bedrooms on the second story. These are the elevations that were submitted with the application. This is the front elevation of the property. Another rendering of the front elevation. This is the left side elevation of what the project will look like when it's complete. These are the photos that I took when I made a visit of the property. This is the existing front of the house. This is the side of the house from Sheridan, looking directly at the garage, and the two additions will be on either side of the garage. This is looking down Sheridan. This is the rear of their property, and the addition will be coming off this area right here. Just another photo from the rear of the property, the back of the house. This is standing at the back of the house looking out where the driveways, you see the two driveways and where the existing conditions as it relates to the street. And this is the property that's directly to the east that creates the 35-foot setback, the average, and it's to the east of the existing property, the subject property. This is looking directly across the street at the neighbors to the north. That's the end of my presentation. I'll take questions at this time.
Thanks, John. Any questions for staff? Dave?
I've got a couple questions. Number one, the setbacks. I know none of the homes in this neighborhood have sidewalks. Does the public right-of-way end at the edge of the street, or would it go into the properties enough that there could be sidewalks? So what I'm asking is, what's the right-of-way, the public right-of-way?
The distance from the property line to the edge of the street is probably between 6 and 8 feet.
Okay,
But-
so, and when these setbacks are averaged, are we measuring to the street or to the edge of the right-way?
We're measuring to from the property line to the structure,
From the property line, which is already set back.
several feet from the street.
Several feet from the street.
Correct.
Okay. So just to clarify, or to put on the record, in reality, the 24-foot setback is further than that from the edge of the street.
That's correct.
Okay. Another question. So, and my understanding from looking at the things here and looking at the site earlier today, so the two existing curb cuts are going to go away, but there will be a new curb cut on Sheridan to retain the circular drive for people to go in one and come out the other.
That's correct, and yes, I believe that is the plan.
And that new curb cut will be closer to the corner. I saw something in our packet. Is transportation all okay with that?
Yes, the applicants will go through the engineering department and obtain a curb cut right-of-way permit.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, the petitioner's here. If you could please step forward, state your name for the record, and sign in. You'll have 5 minutes.
Lubin, architect. Do you want my address?
No, that's all right.
Okay. And
Kelly Ross,
owner.
resident.
But sign
Just
in.
make sure you sign in before you're done.
Okay.
So we're here requesting to alter the non-conforming structure. From what we understand, the new addition will not encroach any further than the existing non-conforming structure, and that's on the side of Sheridan. And I'm going to defer to David here on this curb cut, because that's the next line is that we're going from 2 curb cuts to 1, which allows for us to exit frontward instead of back, which with the 15% grade that we have on that driveway currently, it's very difficult to actually get enough momentum to back into it, as well as coming out in the wintertime, sliding. You're sliding right into a very, very busy intersection there at Sheridan and Londonderry.
There will also be substantial landscape along the side of the driveway to hide the garage doors, and the garage floor will be dropped a foot or 2 also to help with the grade. So this will be a normal grade. You have a new driver, and right now it's very dangerous. So this is a longer drive, lower grade, so it's easier to navigate. And then they'd be able to back out and come out forward instead of backing down the driveway into the busy road. But these 2 existing curb cuts will be replaced with this one. So I think you have a letter that says there would be 7 bedrooms, but we're adding basically 2 bedrooms to 4, so it's 6.
4 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms upstairs, and when it was purchased, there was a bedroom set up downstairs in the basement that I guess was counted on that original paperwork. So we have 4 bedrooms upstairs.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the petitioner? Dave?
Not totally relevant to the setback, but as I was looking at it, as I was looking at the front with the new drawings, it looks like you're relocating the door into the middle and taking 3 posts, so it's like 4, it's a section of 4 with the posts there and putting,
The main entrance to the house?
yeah, off of Londonderry,
Right.
where you come off the stone entrance, although probably most of the entries are coming out of the garage and the driveway.
Yeah, I think we're substantially improving the architecture of the front elevation by doing 3 French doors, one of which will be the main entrance to the house.
So you're totally changing that front, and
Yes.
I really
We're
like
adding,
I think that's a big improvement
field
personally,
stone.
but, you know, that's just
I'd
my
also like to add
steps.
about the cedar shake. We knew when we purchased this home that we had a problem with carpenter bees. So we first had them eliminated or whatever. But then learning through time, we've lived there a year, we moved in August 16th last year, that they bring along the woodpeckers.
Right.
So the woodpeckers, and the damage was already set because before we bought the house, there were renters that were not, you know, they weren't actually, not that they didn't like them, but they weren't given the okay by the owner to do that. So we've taken, you know, all the precautions we have, but there's also a lot of damage that has been done already. So that's what started the whole idea of the project. So once that started, we have to do something with the cedar shake to either replace the cedar shake or to do something else along that line. And then we came up with the plan that you see.
I think the impact of the garage projected out the front is very minimal because, as you can see, the road curves out away from the house, so the distance from the road to the garage increases from 24 feet to about 35 feet, and that small section in the rear that we're adding is the same setback as the existing garage.
I just have a quick, I couldn't see any of what you were showing there, so. Okay, it's just that which we have. Okay, thank you.
Mike?
Yeah, I was wondering just about your comments related to going to one curb cut and kind of the way you turn out of the driveway. is any of the addition that you have in the plans done for, I guess, I'm trying to think about how to phrase this, done in order to get that driveway to be configured the way you have it? Or could you have not made changes to the house and still done that work to the driveway? Does that make sense?
Yeah, we could have done the driveway without making changes,
Okay, thank you.
but then we'd have a two-car garage.
Understood. Thanks.
Any other questions for the petitioner? Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone else from the public who wishes to speak on this petition? I will note that we did receive a few letters in our packets. We have a letter of support from 2427 Londonderry, a letter of support from 2508 Londonderry, and then a letter of objection from 2417 Londonderry. And with that, we are in discussion.
Also had a letter of support from 2432 Londonderry. I think there's three letters in support.
Oh, I apologize. Yes, I missed that one. Thank you.
I don't know, I had three, so. And I had a letter of support from the engineering department staff, so I got that email in there.
And, sorry,
Mike?
a question maybe for John.
All right.
The reason that engineering weighed in on it is solely because of the curb cut, or?
Yes,
Okay.
which isn't part of what is before you tonight, is just additional support from staff, or from the engineering staff, that they would prefer to have these two curb cuts eliminated and brought down to one, obviously, so. And that's gonna be part of their, when they apply for their building permits, we're gonna have to go to the engineering department and get a curb cut right-of-way permit as well.
Okay, thanks.
Todd?
We're into comments now?
Yes.
for this, so,
Yes, absolutely.
This is an easy yes for me for the two reasons that, one, it's not going to encroach any farther into the setback than the envelope of the building already does. And there's good rationale for doing it, in particular, you mentioned backing up into the street is never a great idea. I can do it because I'm on a cul-de-sac, but I wouldn't want to do it into a busy intersection. And it certainly meets the criteria that we have to evaluate it in. It's not going to have a detrimental impact on the neighborhood, so this is an easy yes for me.
Kirk?
Thank you. I guess this is partially a question for staff. So just for clarification, under description on the staff report in the second paragraph, the last sentence of the second paragraph reads, "The garage expansion will allow the owners to eliminate the existing curb cuts and combine the two driveways to form one access point to the property." So I just want to, I guess I have two questions about that. It was stated that the driveway reconfiguration could be done without the garage expansion. Is that, did I interpret that correctly from the petitioner?
Yes.
The driveway reconfiguration,
Could be achieved without this modifying the non-conforming structure.
correct.
Okay. And just for clarification, eliminate the existing curb cuts and combine the two driveways to form one access point to the property. I guess that refers to
You're still.
Sheridan.
Correct, yep.
Okay.
There's still one over on Londonderry,
Got
but
it.
it eliminates the two on that side. On Sheridan side.
It eliminates one?
The two curb cuts on Sheridan side.
Right, and it eliminates one of them?
Or it goes
Well,
from two down
eliminates
to one,
both,
but
and
they're
then-
closing the existing two
Mhm.
and creating one new one, so.
Okay, so, okay.
But that's
Got it.
really not part of this
Right, I just want to,
discussion. It's just more about the
Right.
setback
got it.
in the structure.
Yeah, I guess, those are just peripheral. I'm just making sure that the staff report reflects that. I guess, I'm interested to hear more from my colleagues because, normally if it's unanimous support from the neighbors, these kinds of things go through. There was one matter that was brought up from a neighbor regarding the perception that some of these homes in these neighborhoods are being expanded beyond perhaps what's there, and in this one neighbor's opinion, beyond what's potentially necessary. So architecturally and just with regard to the architectural pattern of the neighborhood. So, I don't want to take that lightly. I find it compelling, but maybe not decisive. But I'm just curious to hear what my colleagues have to say.
Dave?
This is a large home, but it's also on a large lot. And I'm familiar with this neighborhood, quite familiar. A lot of my friends when I was in high school lived in this neighborhood, even though I lived in Lower Burns Park at the time. And our lots were not this big. I'm comfortable with the size of the house, even though it's probably triple the size of the house that I lived in Lower Burns Park when I was growing up. But if you look at the size of the lots here, this is one of the larger lots. There are lots even larger than this. And having looked at the site today, I believe that the additions fit comfortably and will not be detrimental to the neighborhood at all. Philosophically, I would be more comfortable. I'm for this. I'm going to vote for it as an alteration. I would vote for it as a variance. And just philosophically, because there is a new little piece of it that is within the setback off of Sheridan, I would be more comfortable just saying, okay, we'll give you a variance at 24 feet. But I will vote for this as an alteration as it's come to us. If there are any other further changes that you want to do within that change or area, you'll have to come back for more alterations since you won't have gotten a variance. But I'm comfortable with this, and I think it'll be, one thing I do want to point out, and I tried to in my questioning with our staff person, is the setbacks, these setbacks that we have on here are to the lot line. And in this neighborhood, there is additional space between the lot line and the street. So effectively, the presence of the homes to the street is much greater than what these numbers in our request for this alteration is. So I'm comfortable voting in favor of this.
Mike?
Yeah, maybe this is something that's a question for you, John, but right now, just to confirm, the reason it's a nonconformance is only because of the 25-foot setback, correct?
The 35-foot setback.
Sorry, 35, thank you.
Which is created by that eastern property. If you look on the map,
Yeah.
This house right here.
And then my other question is, the addition is not going to be non-conforming in any other way as it's currently planned.
Correct.
So,
Otherwise, if they would have been 23 feet from the property line, then they would have had to get a variance.
okay,
But so since it's the exact same number as the existing, then it's just an alteration,
got it.
which is
Okay,
an easier test than a variance.
understood. Yeah, I share everything that Dave said. I feel like I'm in support of this one. Not because of the curb cuts or any of that stuff, but I think it's a large lot, and the neighboring property isn't really even neighboring to it. I mean, it's not in line with the property itself, and I think that it seems reasonable. So,
Any further discussion? Or motion?
I'll make the motion.
Dave, thank you. Oh, real quickly, I will note, we did receive one additional letter of support from the 2500 Londonderry, so I omitted that earlier. My apologies.
Actually, if somebody else could make that motion. since I would rather make it as a variance.
Kirk?
This is with regard to petition ZBA 18-020, 2505 Londonderry. Permission to alter a nonconforming structure. Based on the following findings of fact and in accordance with the established standards for approval, the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby grants permission to alter a nonconforming structure per submitted plans. A, the alteration complies as nearly as practicable with the requirements of the zoning chapter and will not have a detrimental effect on neighboring property.
I second.
Charlotte?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Dave?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Kirk?
Yes.
The request is granted.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Moving on, we have no unfinished or new business. Reports and communications, I believe we have addressed all of that with relation to the appeal itself. Public commentary, I see no one. Can I have a motion to adjourn? From Mike, support. From Julie, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.